Hadirin yang kami hormati, perlu kami sampaikan sekali lagi, Universitas Indonesia menyiapkan alat audio berupa interpreting system, audio system dalam bahasa Inggris, Turki, dan Indonesia. Jadi, bila Anda berkenan atau berminat untuk mendengarkan dalam bahasa-bahasa tersebut, dipersilahkan untuk memakainya. Ladies and gentlemen, Universitas Indonesia provide the audio system to help audience who prefer using bahasa or English language during this ceremony. Thank you. We would like to extend our warmest welcome to Her Excellency Madam Hayrunisa Hu, the First Lady of the Republic of Turkey. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the Honorary Doctorate Conferment Ceremony at the Convocation Hall, Balai Sidang, at Universitas Indonesia. We give thanks to God that we can be here today, Wednesday, April 6th, 2011, to witness the award of an honorary doctorate degree on His Excellency Abdullah Gül, the President of the Republic of Turkey. The academic procession proceed to the Convocation Hall. You are kindly requested to rise. Hadirin dimohon berdiri.
Rektor Universitas Indonesia beserta Menteri Pendidikan Nasional Republik Indonesia, Yang Mulia Presiden Abdullah Gül, dan Senat Akademik, Dewan Guru Besar, para Wakil Rektor, para Dekan, Komite Tetap Pemberian Gelar Doktor Honoris Causa, serta peer reviewer memasuki ruang upacara.
His Excellency the President of the Republic of Turkey, Director, Vice Rectors, the University Academic Senate, the University Council of Professors, the Faculty Deans, the Steering Committee for the Award of Honorary Doctorates, the peer reviewers, and the conferee are entering the Convocation Hall. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Hadirin yang kami hormati, sebelum kita memulai seluruh rangkaian acara, sebelum Rektor Universitas Indonesia membuka secara resmi sidang terbuka Universitas Indonesia, dengan segala hormat kami mohon kepada Menteri Pendidikan Nasional Republik Indonesia, Bapak Profesor Muhammad Nuh, untuk menyampaikan kata sambutan. Welcome remarks by Minister of National Education of the Republic of Indonesia, Profesor Muhammad Nuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang, salam sejahtera. Good morning. Excellency, the President of Republic of Turkey, Bapak Dr. Abdullah Gül, Excellency the First Lady of Republic of Turkey, Madam Hayrunisa Gül, distinguished executive of the Turkey delegations yang sama-sama kita hormati, Rektor Universitas Indonesia beserta seluruh Senat, Guru Besar Universitas Indonesia, Sekretaris Kabinet beserta Ibu, hadirin sekalian yang saya muliakan. Alhamdulillah, today in such a beautiful day, only with the blessing of God Almighty, we may present here to honor our distinguished guest, Excellency President of Republic of Turkey, Bapak Dr. Abdullah Gül, and the First Lady, Madam Hairunisa Gül. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to deliver my speech in Bahasa due to the religious reason. Kami atas nama Kementerian Pendidikan Nasional dan atas nama rakyat Indonesia menyampaikan selamat kepada Yang Mulia Bapak Dr. Abdullah Gül, Presiden Republik Turki, yang dalam hal ini akan mendapatkan penghargaan dari Universitas Indonesia Doktor Honoris Causa. UI sebagai representatif bangsa Indonesia dan Bapak Dr. Abdullah Gül sebagai representatif rakyat Turki. Pemberian gelar Doktor Honoris Causa ini memiliki makna bahwa hubungan antara rakyat pemerintah Turki dan Indonesia sangat-sangatlah baik. Oleh karena itu, selamat datang dan kami ucapkan selamat atas penghargaan ini. Pendidikan bisa dijadikan sebagai bagian dari cultural diplomacy. Oleh karena itu, hari ini adalah bagian dari cultural diplomacy antara masyarakat Turki dengan masyarakat Indonesia. Akhirnya, dalam kesempatan ini kami ingin menyampaikan penghargaan setinggi-tingginya kepada masyarakat Turki yang sudah ikut membangun dunia pendidikan di Indonesia. Dalam hal ini khususnya telah dilakukan oleh Pesyat yang telah mendirikan beberapa sekolah. Ada yang di Aceh, di Jakarta dan sekitar, dan di beberapa tempat yang lain, dan itu menunjukkan kontribusi real dari masyarakat Turki terhadap dunia pendidikan di Indonesia. Akhirnya kami sampaikan selamat kepada Yang Mulia Bapak Dr. Abdullah Gül atas pemberian doktor kehormatan kepada beliau, dan kami sampaikan terima kasih kepada keluarga besar UI yang telah memberikan penghargaan kepada beliau. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Upacara pemberian gelar Doktor Honoris Causa dalam bidang ilmu politik dimulai.
The ceremony for the awarding of an honorary doctor degree in political science is now in session.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I declare the ceremony for the awarding of an honorary doctor degree has begun. Distinguished and honored guests and colleagues, we are happy to be able to meet here today for the purpose of recognizing the achievements of His Excellency Abdullah Gül in the field, recognizing the achievements of His Excellency Abdullah Gül in the field of political science through the award of an honorary doctorate degree. The decision to make this award is based on the deliberation of the steering committee for the award of honorary doctorates and the peer group reviewers. Therefore, based on their decision and reasoning, and with the utmost respect, I declare that Universitas Indonesia approves the granting of an honorary doctor degree to His Excellency Abdullah Gül. I will read the statement of reasoning for conferring the honorary doctorate degree of His Excellency Abdullah Gül.
The Vice Rector of Student and Academic Affairs, Dr. Engineer Muhammad Anis, will now read His Excellency Abdullah Gül.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. A short personal biography of High Excellency President Abdullah Gül. His Excellency President Abdullah Gül was born in Kayseri on October 29, 1950. His Excellency graduated from Kayseri High School and went on to study at Istanbul University in the Department of Economics. His Excellency received his doctoral degree from Istanbul University in 1983. His Excellency was elected in Kayseri as a member of the Turkish Grand National Assembly, TBMM, for 5 consecutive terms between 1991 and 2007. His Excellency Gül worked as a member of several parliamentary committees, namely the Committee of Culture, Science and Education, the Committee of Economic Affairs and Development, and the Political Affairs Committee in the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe from 1991 to 2001. His Excellency was the Minister of State and the spokesman for the 54th government formed in 1996. President Gül led the reformist movement and competed for the chairmanships of the Future Party in 2000. His Excellency became one of the leading figures in the establishment of the Justice and Development Party, AK Party. President Gül was a member of the NATO Parliamentary Assembly in 2001 and 2002. In 2002, upon completion of 10 consecutive years of services, President Abdullah Gül was awarded the Pro Merito Medal and the title of Permanent Honorary Member by the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe. On November 18, 2002, His Excellency was elected Prime Minister and formed the 58th government. After that, from 2003 to 2007, His Excellency served as the Deputy Prime Minister and then as a Foreign Minister in the 15th government. On August 28, 2007, President Abdullah Gül was elected by the TBMM as the 11th President of the Republic of Turkey. Between 2003 and 2010, the President has been awarded the number of honorary doctorate degrees from reputable universities in the United Kingdom, Russia, China, India, Bulgaria, Azerbaijan, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, dan Romania. President Gül was awarded the British Knight Grand Cross of the Order of the Bath and the Portuguese Grande Collar, as well as national decorations from Italy, Qatar, Kuwait, Cameroon, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. Last year, His Excellency won the prestigious 2010 Chatham House Prize in the United Kingdom. His Excellency is married to Hairunisa Gül and is the father of 3 children, Ahmed Munir, Kubra, and Mehmet Emre. Thank you very much.
The Rector will now read the statement of reasoning for conferring the honorary doctorate degree on His Excellency Abdullah Gül.
This is a summary of the rationale for Universitas Indonesia to award His Excellency Abdullah Gül, President of Turkey, with honorary doctorate in political science. Abdullah Gül is highly deserving of this award. He is a seasoned, effective politician and respected statesman. The position of president is highly influential in Turkey, and President Gül has used his position and before it that for foreign minister with great effect. We are not alone in honoring him. President Gül is the recipient of numerous honors and awards. Among these was the prestigious Chatham House Prize for 2010. This award, presented by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, indicates the significant contribution he made to the improvement of international relations in the previous year. President Gül's achievements go hand in hand with the rise in importance of Turkey itself. The AK Party, of which he is a co-founder, has done more to modernize Turkey than any other before it. President Gül has played a large part in Turkey's democratization and increasing regional and international influence. Abdullah Gül is the first politician with an Islamist background to become head of state. He met with steep opposition to his candidacy as president. Critics feared a hidden Islamic agenda. However, President Gül's approach has been conciliatory and his action proved his critics wrong. President Gül has worked tirelessly to see Turkey become part of the European Union. The process has not been easy. However, to meet these entry threshold requirements, President Gül has enacted far-reaching reforms. These have transformed the country into a modern and prosperous democracy which protects individual freedoms and human rights. A number of extensive political reforms were enacted by the AK Party to bolster its pursuit of EU membership. It's abolished security codes. It's expanded the linguistic and cultural rights of the Kurds. It eased restriction on non-Muslim minority foundations. President Gül has also stood up to the military. Under his leadership, the influence of the military on policy and governance is giving way to civilian control. His party passed a law that reduced the influence of the National Security Council. The many strands of changes initiated during his tenure now make it highly unlikely that the military could wrestle control from elected civilian leaders. Other reforms have transformed the country's economy. These have helped clean up the banking sector, expose the telecoms and energy sector to competition, and initiate a massive privatization scheme. The country today has a conservative monetary policy. It has single-digit inflation. It also boasts a debt burden lower than many European countries. It is now the 17th largest economy in the world and the 6th in Europe. President Gül has explained the reason behind the country's favorable investment climate. They include a liberal legal system that provides equal treatment for foreign and domestic companies, unrestricted foreign ownership, and free transfer of funds. Apart from political and economic reforms, President Gül has led the way in the support for freedom of speech and freedom for the press. Firstly, it is now possible to talk about things that would have been taboo only 5 years ago. Next, media ownership is no longer monopolized by a small number of tycoons, it is now much more heterogeneous. This has led to a broadening of issues on the news agenda. The use of new media like the internet and social networking sites is widespread. Turkey is the country with the highest number of Facebook users after English-speaking countries. President Gül has kept human rights at the forefront of his political agenda. He has helped to create a political system in his country which protects individual rights and liberties. As he himself said, those rights are guaranteed by democratically elected governments and protected by impartial and independent judiciary. Ladies and gentlemen, while acknowledging Europe as a source of inspiration for these things, President Gül has not been shy in reminding his European colleagues of their own responsibilities of shortcomings. For example, the need to tackle racism and xenophobia, especially when these are promoted by political parties. Apart from reforms at home, President Gül has had a significant role in expanding the role that Turkey plays in the region, based on the principle that it is in Turkey's interest to help resolve long-standing conflicts. His country has attempted to shape its own destiny rather than be at the mercy of outside forces. Turkey is also leading efforts to create a Middle Eastern free trade zone. It has eased visa restriction with Jordan, Syria, Iran, among others. Turkey has also taken an independent line to go counter to long-time allies in Washington, Europe, Tel Aviv to give support to the Palestinian cause. All of this diplomatic activity goes hand in hand with increased trade. President Gül has acted as mediator between antagonistic groups in Iraq and brought Afghan and Pakistani leaders together to try to resolve differences. He has gone to great lengths to try and reunify the long divided islands of Cyprus. He has also played a leading role with an Armenian counterpart in efforts of reconciliation between Turkey and Armenia. President Gül has also overseen Turkey's emergence to the international stage. Turkey has embraced globalization and its business people are now moving into new markets in Africa, South America, Asia, and Asia. Turkey also plays a crucial role in Europe's energy security. All of this reflected in the country's membership of the G20 grouping of the world's leading economies. Turkey currently has a policy of increasing its contribution to international security. It provides troops for peacekeeping operations in Afghanistan and Lebanon. It is now a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. Significantly, it is a major contributor to NATO's military capabilities and its only Muslim member. Turkey also became actively involved in the international community's attempts to limit Iran's nuclear program. The country's foreign policy demonstrates a newfound self-confidence. Turkey has also been seen as role model for neighboring Arab states that are making transition to democracy. Abdullah Gül has been at the heart of these changes. We are very pleased to welcome him and to honor him with this award, one which is obviously well-deserved. Although Indonesia and Turkey are separated geographically, we have much in common. Both countries are emerging to international status, both members of the G20, both founded on democratic principle. Both have a strong civil society. Freedom freedom of the press and a modernist perspective. Both are geopolitically and strategically important. Both have Muslim majority, but have chosen to avoid basing government on a single faith. Both have free market economies and have embraced globalization. And finally, both can be seen as role models for other emerging states. We see that indeed we have much in common. I hope that we will share a future together. We can congratulate President Gül on this award and wish you every success. Thank you.
Upacara pemberian gelar Doktor Honoris Causa. Hadirin mohon berdiri.
The honorary doctorate degree will now be awarded. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, you are kindly requested to rise.
Hadirin, kami silakan duduk kembali.
Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now come to the Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency President Dr. Abdullah Gül, in recognition your outstanding and inspiring contribution in political science, and as mark of appreciation of the significance of your work, now according to the decision of Universitas Indonesia and in compliance with its current regulation, I hereby declare that you are granted the degree of honorary doctorate in political science. Please give applause. By accepting the degree, you are now eligible to have all the rights and honors that attach to this doctorate degree under the university's regulation, tradition, and customs. Now we are hoping and wishing President Abdullah Gül to, let's say, deliver his acceptance speech. Please.
Mr. Minister, Professor Samantri, honorable academics, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. It is a distinct pleasure for me to address such a distinguished audience. Universitas Indonesia is one of the most prominent institutions of learning in Asia. In fact, its reputation reaches much beyond the confines of this continent. We in Turkey Muslim population in Indonesia is the third largest democracy in the world. Distinguished guests,
hadirin yang saya muliakan, kehadiran saya di Indonesia pada masa lalu ada sebagai satu perubahan dalam dunia Islam, suatu dinamika reformasi yang diset secara dengan misi yang baik di wilayah Afrika Selatan dan di Timur Tengah. Pada hari ini saya ingin memfokuskan perhatian saya pada satu perubahan sejarah yang diperlukan dalam membantu ke arah yang lebih baik.
people. Allow me to commence my remark by saying that we are truly moved with what we see unfolding in the region. However, we should not portray this phenomenon as a risk or threat. On the contrary, this is a historic opportunity to transform the Middle East into a truly stable and prosperous region with unprecedented implications for the whole globe. Actually, the process of change should not have come as a surprise to anyone.
Seharusnya suatu proses perubahan tidak menyebabkan kita terkejut.
Change was inevitable in the region given the untenable nature of the regimes in power in today's world. I myself, for instance, drew attention to the need for change in the region in my address to the OIC Foreign Ministers meeting in Tehran as early as 2003. I told my colleagues that the current structures were not sufficient to meet the legitimate aspirations of the people, and that genuine reforms were needed to avoid a popular backlash or external manipulations. In particular, I made a sincere appeal for action with a refreshed vision in which good government on the part of the people for their own future. Since then, I reiterate my calls in many fora, ranging from the Arab League to the UN. It was only a month before the events took place in Tunisia that I discussed the issue of democracy and development in the Islamic world in my speech at Oxford University. However, despite certain steps in some countries, it was not possible to set in train a genuine reform process that will consolidate democracy. In many cases, that was due to short-sighted and dubious policies of the regimes in power. Moreover, influential members of the international community preferred status quo over change, fearing that fundamentalist regimes might take over. They also thought that the Middle Eastern societies are not yet mature enough for real democracy. Unfortunately, they preferred to have friendly but undemocratic regimes in power. But all these now changing. History once again flew more rapidly than the actions taken or those that were not. Indeed, given the natural course of world history, this is in fact a much overdue move in this part of the globe, yet a very strong and irreversible one. The dynamics of the current change in the regime are reminiscent of the 1848 revolution in Europe and the 1989 events in East and Central Europe. The people of the region have finally decided to take their future into their own hands and catch up with history. From Tunis to Egypt, Libya to Yemen, people are no longer afraid to raise their voice, express their legitimate demands, and steer their governments in the right direction. Finally, the fear has gone. Now, I urge everybody who claimed that democracy and Islam were incompatible to admit that they were mistaken. Because the brave peoples of the Middle East and North Africa have proven those claims wrong by manifesting their firm desire for universal values such as democracy, fundamental rights and freedom, transparency and accountability. Of course, one can argue for hours as to why now and what triggered the recent events. Some might cite the role of technology and social networks. Some might point to socio-economic considerations such as the youth bulge and unemployment, and some might even try to find the foreign hands behind all this. One should also not forget that these peoples revolted not only for those universal values and rightful demands, but also for regaining their long oppressed national pride and dignity. No matter what caused the change, it is no longer a choice, but a necessity and a reality to be reckoned with. And the objective is common. The people who led Jasmine Revolution in Tunisia, or feel Tahrir Square in Egypt, or are taking the streets elsewhere, all want to live in dignity and prosper in peace and stability. I was the first president who visited Egypt after the revolution last month. During that visit, I met not only with the current leaders in power, but also with the representatives of many political groups that fear Tahrir Square. Most importantly, I met with the youth leaders who fearlessly ignited the uprising in Egypt. It was truly fascinating to see their continued enthusiasm for what they have achieved so far, but more so for what they aspire to further accomplish in the future. They no longer want to read about their glorious past in the history books, but aspire to become equal citizens of a democratic country, which would be a part of the global solutions, not the problems. Therefore, at present, we should focus on how we can help translate the dynamics of change into freedom, peace, democracy, and prosperity in the Middle East and the world. Of course, the responsibility lies first and foremost with the countries of the region. They are the ones who should be the driving force of this process. To a large extent, the course of future events will be determined by the regime's response to this new dynamic, either by starting a true process of reform or by attempting to weather the storm by half-hearted steps, or even worse, by trying to repress it. Those who chose to the last two options will certainly lose. In fact, this is the difference between Tunisia and Egypt on the one hand and Libya on the other. Likewise, perseverance of the people and their ability to translate the spirit of the revolution into rational and practical steps towards building a genuine democracy will also be instrumental. In Tunis and Egypt, a promising start has been made. On the other hand, what we see in Libya is truly tragic and runs counter the very logic and spirit of the revolution in the first place. From the very outset, we appeal to the Libyan leaders not allow such bloodshed to happen and pave the way for an orderly and democratic transition. But unfortunately, that call was not listened to, and we are now faced with the possibility of a protracted civil conflict. So the priority should be to stop further bloodshed and pave the way for Libyans to take control of their own destiny through dialogue, compromise, and consensus. They should not allow their dear country to be ruined and drained by international conflict and external intervention. This is precisely why we support the UN Security Council Resolution 1970 and 1973, which stressed the need to find a solution responding to the legitimate demands of the Libyan people. Distinguished guests, the possibility of sectarian strife in Bahrain and Yemen is truly frightening. Such a grim development can turn the whole region into a battlefield, and thus it should not be allowed at all costs. Therefore, for governments and opposition alike, now is the time for true leadership. Opposition groups must never deviate from peaceful means of expression and remain committed to a genuine dialogue. Governments must not only listen to, but hear and act upon the legitimate demands of their people. On the other hand, we have a historical responsibility to help them achieve their aspirations in an orderly manner. However, our role should be one of assistance and guidance